Hello everyone. Today's video is about a very stubborn case of psoriasis and how that case eventually got cracked. It's a happy ending story. Just before jumping into the video, if you don't mind taking a quick moment to please like, share, subscribe, and or post a quick comment on the video, I'd really appreciate it. And thanks in advance for taking a second to do that. And as per usual, please know that nothing I'm saying in this video should be construed as medical advice. This is for informational purposes only. If you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to get that advice. So I was treating this patient maybe 4 or 5 years ago, came in for the first time as a pediatric patient, probably like 8 or 9 years old, give or take, and he's having a lot of digestive issues, gas, bloating, constipation, and energy levels weren't 100%. So ran a stool test, found evidence of yeast and large intestinal bacterial overgrowth, put him on some antimicrobial herbs, put him on some glutamine, put him on a probiotic, tweaked his diet a bit, started minimizing gluten and dairy and sugar, if memory serves, and gut issues got better, completely went away, energy levels got on track, and this young fellow was doing really, really well. So I was working with some other family members of his, and but he was doing really well. But I kind of check in with his one of his parents, and when we were talking about other siblings, or I went to the whole family eventually, but just check in periodically. Oh, how's the patient doing? And oh yeah, he's doing just great, and everything's going fine. So flash forward a couple of years later, his mom said, he's got psoriasis now. He's got these, started getting these little patches on, I think it was his scalp and his back of his knees or something like that. And they started putting on some steroid creams. They went to see the family doctor, started putting on steroid cream, and it was helping a little bit. It was kind of like keeping it sort of from getting like red and angry and whatnot, but it wasn't going away. So I asked, well, have the digestive symptoms recurred? Are things off kilter? Has he been off kilter with his diet? And nope, everything's still good. It's like, well, why don't we, do the stool test again, see how things are looking? Is one of those cases where, as we do in many cases, things are going well. We don't bother retesting because things are going well, and nobody wants to spend money on testing if they don't need it, or very few people do. So we ran another test, and nope, his gut microbiome was looking really, really good. So it wasn't his digestive tract that was getting off kilter again. And so we thought, well, maybe we could look at a possible food sensitivity or something like that, but it just didn't really make sense that he'd suddenly be allergic to or have a sensitivity to soy or eggs or some other thing that he was eating in his diet. It's a possibility, but it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense given the timeline. I didn't have any toxic exposures. There was no particular rhyme or reason as to why this would have happened. So it was a little bit perplexing that his gut was doing well, and where's this psoriasis coming from? So I recommended that we try some low-dose immunotherapy, or LDI for short. I've posted a number of other videos about low-dose immunotherapy over time. So if you're interested, please check the back catalog. Searching on my YouTube channel is probably the fastest way to just keyword search that if you're interested. But in a nutshell, low-dose immunotherapy is kind of the same, in the same vein as allergy shots. There's no needles involved, but it's the same kind of premise where if a person's, say, allergic to dust, they go to the allergist, they get diluted dust injected into their arm, or there's an offshoot of traditional allergy shots called sublingual immunotherapy, or slit therapy for short. And that's where, instead of injecting, say, the dust in this case, the patient would take tablets or drops of diluted dust under their tongue, and the little dendritic cells under the tongue act as antigen presenting cells to basically help form T regulator cells to improve the tolerability of the immune system to that offending substance in question. So you kind of down regulate the dust allergy, the cat dander allergy, the peanut allergy, whatever it is, by kind of exposing the body to dilute amounts of the thing that that is allergic to. So low-dose immunotherapy is in the same vein, except we tend to use formulas that are quite a bit more, that are not used in traditional allergy therapy. So, for example, if a person's sensitive to the yeast that lives, in their body or on their skin, or that's in their food, then they, sorry, my wife just sent me a text that popped up. And anyways, we're having turkey this weekend. We're very excited. Easter long weekend, and she just said turkey weekend, and I thought that was really funny. So anyways, nice for my wife to have sort of an indirect cameo in this video. So totally lost my train of thought. Right. So if the patient's allergic to yeast, they could take low-dose immunotherapy yeast, which is basically essentially diluted dead yeast body parts, essentially, sourced from a microbiology lab, and it's this yeast body part formula. Basically, it's diluted to a certain concentration. Put those drops under their tongue, and become desensitized to yeast. Well, in that, so that's what low-dose immunotherapy is. So in this case, where it was psoriasis, or it was a psoriasis issue, the formula that tends to be the most commonly effective is using what they call the skin fungal formula. And so the skin fungal formula has a number of different fungi in there, including Aspergillus. And it's just clinically the formula that tends to work the best. So the subtext there is that if the skin fungal formula LDI works well, then that would suggest by process of elimination that the patient must be having a sensitivity reaction, like an allergic type reaction, if you will, to the fungi that naturally live on the skin. So lo and behold, this patient, put him on the fungal formula, and within, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, psoriasis was like healing up beautifully, went away, didn't need the steroids anymore, everything just tickety-boo. And so it was a wonderful case of low-dose immunotherapy for the win, and that it's called the SFF formula, the skin fungal formula, was the one that did the trick. So I've had a number of other cases of psoriasis where the SFF formula has also worked well. There's been some cases where it has not knocked it out of the park, and that in those cases, it wasn't a fungal sensitivity or a fungal allergy. In those cases, they would have had more of a response to treating gut dysbiosis or going after those food sensitivities. But again, in this particular case, just didn't really make sense given his history. He was doing really well. He was continuing to eat well. Where did this come from out of the blue? I could speculate as to why it happened out of the blue, but the LDI just made the most sense to try, and it worked really well. And that was, again, several years ago, and there's not been a recurrence, at least since last I checked in. It's been probably a little over a year since I've seen anyone in the family, because everyone was doing well. This whole family just responded well to things, which is wonderful. But that was the story with the psoriasis and the LDI. So I hope that tale was of interest. If anybody has any questions or comments about this video, don't hesitate to post in the comment section below. And if you have any questions about any other topic that you'd like me to make a video about, just post in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to do that as soon as I can.